Hey Cornerstone, welcome to episode whatever of the Cornerstone Connection. Thanks for joining us this week. I am back at my old stomping grounds here in the building at Lakewood with Barb Filiatrault. Barb, why don't you tell us who you are and what you do at Lakewood?
I'm Barb Filiatrault. I am the Director of Kids Ministry here. I oversee Lakewood Kids, which is birth through grade 5.
Cool. And we are talking to Barb today because as I was thinking about this whole idea of how do we as Cornerstone get out and serve our community, I thought, well, there are other churches doing this. It's not like we got to reinvent the wheel here. And I know that Barb has done some stuff with Summer Impact with the kids here at Lakewood, and I wanted to talk to her some about it. So Barb, can you tell us just real quick what Summer Impact is in like the, 4-sentence or 2-sentence or whatever version?
Sure. Summer Impact is what we do here at Lakewood as an alternative to VBS. During the summer, we invite our kids to come for a series of service projects where we go out and impact our community. Rather than inviting all of the kids to come here and just hang out and play and goof around, we invite our kids to come here and do a service project that will impact the community around us. Now, we do also do some playing after our service project is done.
Right, yeah. Okay, I got that. So
Yeah.
What kind of service projects do you do? Like, what have you guys done?
We have done things like packing blizzard boxes for Meals on Wheels.
What's a blizzard box?
A blizzard box is a shoe box that they decorate on the outside, and then they pack non-perishable food items in so that the Meals on Wheels volunteers can deliver a meal for when a week that the drivers aren't able to take a meal.
Because there's a blizzard.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
We have done projects like, especially during COVID, we did a couple of unique projects. We had the kids go to nursing homes and take chalk paint and chalk bomb the windows and paint different pictures on the windows so that the people that weren't able to get out had beautiful pictures on their windows to look at.
And that one got you in the newspaper, didn't it?
It did. We were in the Brainerd paper.
Yeah. Sweet.
Yeah.
So some things getting out to the community just to make things better.
Yeah.
In the Brainerd Lakes area.
Yeah, and showing our kids that the scriptures call us to be involved in the community.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of, apart from being in the Brainerd Dispatch, what kind of reaction have we gotten from the community as we've gone out to serve?
You know, as I was thinking about this, I realized that when I first started setting up these projects, it took me a long time to explain to people what I was trying to do. And now this is my 4th summer setting these up, it doesn't take me as long to set it up anymore because we're developing that reputation in the community that Lakewood is that crazy church that sends kids out to do service projects to make the community a better place.
Nice.
Yeah.
What about on us here, whether kids or adult volunteers or other parents who are sending their kids? What about the impact here at the church?
So there are 2 things that I love about the projects that we're doing. The first is that it's developing relationships between especially multi-generational relationships.
Sure.
So one of our projects was our kids would pot plants and then deliver them to the church's homebound people.
Okay.
But that invited the older people to develop relationships.
Right.
And now, when those kids see those older people in church, they're not scary old people anymore.
Right.
They're people that they've met and they sat and had tea with.
Right.
And they develop that relationship.
And the kids aren't just little rugrat Kool-Aid lovers who are, yeah.
Tearing around the church anymore.
Right, because they are tearing around the church.
They are,
yeah.
But they are people that have been at their home and brought them a gift.
Nice.
The other aspect of Summer Impact that I love is collaboration between generations.
Okay.
So this is a quilt that is going to be part of one of our projects this summer. We developed this project where our kids work with our quilt makers.
Okay.
And then the quilts at the end will be donated to the nonprofit part of Slumberland.
Right.
So the kids get the quilt makers do the prep at the beginning and hand off the blocks to the kids. The kids design where all of the blocks go.
Okay.
The quilt makers sew it back together, and then the quilt is given to Slumberland.
Not being a quilt maker, I'm a little bit confused about blocks and prep and all the rest. But what I've got is you've got kids and people who are quilting who are probably not usually kids.
Right.
working together
Yes.
to make quilts for Slumberland. And Slumberland,
Everywhere. All of the Slumberlands do this.
and then what do
And-
they do with them?
So what Slumberland does is each Slumberland in their own community has their radar up for kids that are in need of beds and bedding. And they work with local organizations that vet the families.
Okay.
And then Slumberland will make sure that these kids get beds and hopefully a homemade quilt.
See, what I love about that is Jesus wants people to have a good bed to sleep in at night.
Yeah.
I believe that. Jesus
Yep.
wants good for his people, right?
Yep.
So Jesus wants people to have a bed to sleep in. You've got Slumberland, this organization with some Christian connections.
Yep.
Who says, hey, let's make the world look a little bit more like Jesus would want it to look. And then you've got kids and not kids putting some real love and a personal touch on that, making the world look a little bit more like Jesus would want it to look. That is a cool thing. And you've been doing this 4 years?
This is our 4th summer doing it.
And you've done the quilt thing, a lot of those, right?
Yes, we've done the quilt every year.
Do you know how many quilts you've made? Not you personally, because I know that's like 400 or something.
Now with Slumberland, we are making about 18 every year.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So you're pushing like a solid 70, 80 quilts.
Yeah, yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
All right, anything else about Summer Impact that you think would be good for us at Cornerstone to know?
I love it because it gives you a chance to reach into lots of different areas. We do Christian organizations like a Crisis Pregnancy Center or things like that, but we also reach into not Christian groups.
Sure.
We reach into our local arboretum and we teach our kids creation care. So it's an opportunity to be able to really reach into a huge variety of showing kids how to serve their community.
That's cool. And it's,
Yeah.
again, just, okay, what would Jesus want our community to look like? How can we make it look a little bit more like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, Cornerstone, I want you to know that Jeff Larson is already working on some things like this for Camp Cornerstone coming up this summer. And I want you to continue to be praying about and thinking about where can we as Cornerstone begin to focus on our community to serve the broader community of Blaine and make it look a little bit more like Jesus would want it to look. Because we love him and we want to point people to him, and this is one way we can do it. Thanks so much, Barb, for taking some time and chatting with me today and being on the Cornerstone Connection. I think you're our first guest.
Oh.
Like, Jeff Larson was on Cornerstone Connection, but he's staff. He doesn't really count as a guest. You are our first guest, so glad to have you.
Thanks.
All right. See you, Cornerstone.